Wake up the vibe, let it flow, let it shine. Feel the rhythm, the heartbeat, the climb. We're moving, we're grooving. We're just living, learning, growing. Here for the journey, unfiltered. We're just living, learning, growing. Here for the journey, unfiltered.
Hey y'all, welcome to Here for the Journey Unfiltered. I'm your host, Denarian Lewis, and this is where we share real millennial stories of growth, grace, and figuring it out, one unfiltered conversation at a time. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Here for the Journey Unfiltered podcast. I'm your host, Denarian Lewis, and I am happy to be back. I feel like this is my new home, and I just like talking to everybody, and I love the support that you guys have been giving me. Y'all, I am ecstatic about today's episode because my guest today, we became friends less than a year ago, and the way that we have bonded and just shared special moments, I am excited to talk about these moments with you guys. And this person is Cynthia. We're going to talk about her transition back home and how she had to reset. We're going to talk about our friendship moments. We're going to talk about grief and just real life stuff, and even share a few little giggles here and there. But before we dive into that interview, it is time for the check-in point. And this is the moment where I get real about my past week, the highs, the lows, and the unfiltered in-betweens. And we just have a moment. This is my self-diary moment. So I'm just going to talk, all right? If you have been following me or if you have been listening to the podcast, you know that I plan on relocating to Los Angeles at the end of the year. And this is probably one of the biggest transitions that I have had to encounter in my life thus far. There has been a lot of transitions in my life, but this was like a big decision to literally uproot my life and move somewhere across the country, literally across the United States of America, to pursue my aspirations and my dream in the music industry, and just to further work in that industry and have some more connections. So far, the transition has been going well, but it did get real at the end of last week because I finally turned in my notice to vacate on my current apartment. And that has been the hardest thing in this transition. It really has, because this is the place that I found myself. This is like the place where I became an adult. After college, I went back home for a couple months, and then I started dating somebody I thought I was going to marry. And the person is a good person, but that was never going to work. And during that time of us dating, we actually got an apartment together, and we broke up right after our lease renewed. So we stayed in the same place, different rooms. We stayed in the same place for a year prior to us actually moving out of that place. And that was a difficult moment in my life. But I say that to say this current apartment that I am in was my first place by myself. And there's been so many tears. There's been so many happy moments, so many game nights, even doing Christmas brunch at my apartment, hosting people when I feel like it. This is the place that I have felt safe. And I know people say home is where the heart is, but my heart has been here. And if I could literally move to LA and still pay for this apartment and keep it so I can stay here when I move back, I would do something like that. And that has been the hardest transition. And I believe when I move to LA, I am going to make it my mission to actually make that place my home. When I went to LA in August, I believe, to go look at apartments, I was sitting in my rental car prior to me going on one of the apartment tours, and I was like, oh shit, I am literally moving 1,000+ miles across the country. I don't have any friends in LA. I know people in LA. They're more of a connection, They could possibly grow into a friendship, but my friends are here in Ohio. My mom and my dad is here in Ohio. My brother is here in Ohio. My nieces are here in Ohio. So it's like I'm literally leaving a part of myself here, and I need y'all to pray for me. If you've been listening to this podcast, y'all know I'm a homebody. I can't be a homebody in a place where I don't know anybody, because how am I going to meet people? That's going to be a lot. So I've been mentally trying to make that transition. I am working on not thinking in the future, but I can't help to think about when I have to pack up this apartment. That's going to be a lot for me, and a lot for me in many different ways, because I have a lot of stuff. And I don't know if you've seen the apartments in LA, they're not that big. So having to pack up all my things and decide what things I'm going to take with me, what things am I going to throw out, what things am I going to put in storage, it's becoming a lot. But we're going to get through this, and y'all are going to help me get through it, and it's going to be a good time. But I had to get that off of my chest, as far as literally leaving a place that I created as an adult and where I have found myself. I've been here for about 6-7 years now, so most of my 20s. So yes. All right, y'all, before we get into this next check-in point, I'm going to just let y'all know now, I don't need no side eyes. I don't need no eye rolls. I don't need no deep sighs. I don't need no judgment, because this is a safe place, all right? But I have to be honest. So I think it is very human of us that as we get older, for those of us that are single and don't have kids, it is natural for us to think about family. Like, do we want to get married? Do we want kids? For me, I'm single as hell. My phone is dry. No one, no one's texting me except for my friends, and I be ignoring them sometimes because I don't be wanting to be bothered. But I don't have kids. I have nieces and nephews. I also taught school, so I have a lot of kids that I've mentored and things of that nature. But I'm in this phase of thinking, I'm getting older. Do I want a family? And I have to be honest. The younger version of me, ideally, I do want a family. I want a partner. I want kids. But do I really want kids? That's the question. I don't know if I want to have kids, y'all. And it's not because I can't handle kids. I think I'm very good with kids. I talk to kids like they grown folks. I be like, y'all get on my nerves. Like, and they love it. They eat me up. And I be like, how do y'all like me? Because I'm really being mean, but they love it. It's more of the social climate that we're in. I'm thinking long term. If I don't even want to be here in this social climate, like the world is literally in a jacked up situation with what's going on. And we've always been told that history repeats itself. So for me in my brain, I'm like, why would I bring a child in this world and they potentially have children, and at some point I have to pass on? So I didn't live a life. This is me just thinking like in the future. I have lived a life where we have endured a psychopath like Trump. We have endured racism. We have endured all of this. Why would I want to bring a child in this world for them to have to live in a world where I am now passed on? And I don't know how it is to have a child, but I know that most parents are very protective over their kids. They want to protect their kids from any harm, and they want to just do what they can to make sure that their child is living the best life possible. How can I do that if eventually I'm going to pass on? Like, I'm going to pass away. And now my kid and my grandkids are stuck in this jacked up world, having to live through turmoil. Yes, I believe that the world will get in a better place, but we've also been indoctrinated that history repeats itself. And it does. Like, we're literally encountering history repeating itself. If I don't want to be here, why would I bring a child in the world? And also, just to be funny about it, I'm gay, so I can't have no accidental babies. If I have an accidental baby, then just call me Mary from the Bible, okay? Because ain't no way I'm doing the do with Yeah, okay, y'all get my drift, okay? That is just where my mind is at. And I was talking to one of my friends about this, and she said to me, she said, people that should be having babies aren't having babies. But the people that should not be having babies are out here just spreading seeds all across the world. And I agree. But do I have to have a baby? Why can't I just go adopt one? Okay. There's a lot of kids in the adoption world. I could just go adopt one. I don't want to. I don't know. What is y'all thoughts? What's y'all opinion? Drop a comment. Send me a DM. Let me know. And this will change. I may get married to someone and they want kids. If that's what they want, then let's do it. But right now, in my decision making, I don't know. But then again, it's like, I kind of want that family. I don't know. Parents out there, if you are a parent, let me know, how are you maintaining your mental health in this season, and also maintaining your child's mental health, and just making sure that they are equipped and ready for the real world. Okay. So y'all, that's my check-in point today. After this break, we're going to get into the interview with my dear friend, Cynthia. It's going to be a good time, y'all, I promise. Hey, y'all, it's Denarian from Here for the Journey Unfiltered. Every Monday, we're getting real about life, the growth, the grace, and the moments we're still figuring out. Each week, I sit down with friends and guests who are navigating their own paths, sharing the highs, lows, and the lessons along the way. So wherever you listen to podcasts, make sure you follow Here for the Journey Unfiltered and join the conversation. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram at denarian.lewis and the podcast page at Here for the Journey Podcast. Because we may not have it all figured out, but we're here for the journey. All right, y'all, we are back at the Here for the Journey podcast, and I'm your host, Denarian Lewis. And y'all, I don't know what this is going to get us into, but I do know that you're here for a treat, because I have with me my new dearest friend, Cynthia. Hey, Cynthia.
Hi.
How are you feeling, girl?
I am very blessed and highly favored.
And I am very tired. Cynthia called me and she texted me. She was like, are we still recording? I was like, yeah. If y'all don't know, we had harvest party at our church. That's the trunk or treat. And if Cynthia's tired, imagine how tired I am. And girl, I don't know what it is being 30. I don't know how, like, what God gave me, like, this body wise, but my body is hurting.
It breaks down. I don't know what it is. 30 just clocks it in.
Maybe I need to go get baptized again and we can get a new body. I'm not sure. But yeah, we are going to be here with laughs, giggles, and just deep conversation, because we're here for the journey and it's going to be unfiltered. I told Cynthia that she could be her, and she's a Southern belle. Now, Cynthia, I'm 30 and you turned 30 a few months before me. I know I hate when people ask me this question because I don't know how to answer it, but how do you feel?
That is a very hard question to answer. I feel the same. I think I started turning 30 when I turned 29. So it was just a downward spiral.
Actually, in the latter part of my 29s, people ask me how old I am. I was like, I'm 30.
Yeah. I mean, you just feel it. I don't know what it is. I guess that maturity just kind of clicks in your head. You're like, yeah, I guess it's time to finally get it together.
Did you go through a mental shift at all as you were transitioning to 30? Because I think my mindset and kind of how I viewed life, it started to shift a little bit.
Definitely think that the shift happened not as much just like being 30, but just understanding that life is actually moving a lot quicker than I was registering in my brain. And I was like, oh, 30 is close to 40 and 40 is close to 50. So we need to get it together.
And it's probably different for a female than I would think a male. Oh my
gosh. Yes. I don't have any kids. I'm like, Lord, am I going to have kids one day? We getting the geriatric pregnancy level. Like, we need to get it together.
Like, for me, my mindset was more so I think I'm becoming more understanding to people a little bit, but I am entering, I don't give a blank phase.
Yes.
Like, I don't care. Like, I literally don't care. Like, it is very weird because I care about everything, but now I don't care.
It's more so like, I don't care on different levels though. Like, I don't care, but I also care, like, I don't really care to even be bothered with it. I don't care.
That part.
Yeah.
I don't want to be bothered with the foolishness. If you're bringing foolishness in my life, I'm like, I don't want it. I'm at peace because I am always at my house.
Mm-hmm.
And you try to get me out all the time.
I sure do.
And do we go anywhere?
Nope.
Insomnia cookies.
Insomnia cookies. That's what I go to.
Which is 20 minutes away from my house.
And that's long enough.
Anyone that knows me, I don't like driving. And I don't like driving more than 10 minutes. So for me and her to just, we are going to get into our friendship because it's a lot. As far as our friendship, we have not been friends for that long.
No, almost a year now.
Well, do we count almost a year?
I don't know.
So me and Cynthia, we go to the same church. And here's the thing about it. We became more familiar with each other in the latter part of last year. It wasn't until I invited her to my birthday game night to where we kind of was like, oh, we could be friends. But here's the thing about it. We were talking about this last week, actually.
Yeah.
So we were talking about how we were at the same event in which I facilitated and we did not see each other. How do you not see the facilitator of the event?
I didn't see. I'm talking about I was all over that resort. I didn't even know. I had no idea. I didn't even think you were there. So I had no idea.
I didn't think she was there. So yeah, she was like, oh yeah, we were at Chicago too. I said, you was in Chicago. I was at Chicago and I was the one that looked through all the guest lists. I said, show me a picture. Mm-hmm. She put out her phone and showed me her. I said, well, yeah, I was there. And I was trying to look for me in the background. So we kind of got familiar and it was, why? So it was around Gabby's birthday.
Yeah.
Me, Gabby, and Jasmine, we went out to this winery for a wine tasting for her birthday over at Wyandotte. And then we ended up going to the little restaurant that is that's attached to one of the apartment complexes that is across from me. And I remember seeing you there. And I think at that point, I had a lot of wine. So I probably was very loud. I was like, no, did you come up
No,
to me?
I came up to you. Yeah, I was there with a friend of mine because she lives in that apartment complex. So we walked over because I was hungry. I'm always hungry. And she was like, okay, let's go over here. And I was like, okay, cool. And I walked in. I said, hey, hold on. I know him. And being from the South, you don't just walk past folks and not speak. So I was like, oh, wait a minute, let me speak.
I'm from the South and I don't be speaking to people.
See, you wasn't down there long enough.
I have tunnel vision, so I can see. Well, I don't see people. Actually, today I was in a grocery store and there was two people that got mad at me. Not like real mad, but they was like, you ain't gonna speak to me. I'm like, I didn't see you. I didn't see you. So you came and spoke to me and I was like, hey, Cynthia,
yes.
blah, blah. And then we didn't touch back. I think in my head, I noticed that you were a good person. Mm-hmm. And I said, let me see how she really is. Because like we go to church together, but we was not like really like, it was a high and by type of encounter. Right. And on my birthday last year, everybody knows I am the king of game nights.
That party was everything.
And listen, my whole point of the game nights is for y'all to have fun and to get drunk. But okay, nobody stay at my house, so sober up quickly. And I was like, let me invite Cynthia to my, and you know this as a Southerner, because she's from Mississippi and I'm from Alabama. When we feel at home with somebody, it's kind of like we've known them our entire life.
Whole life.
So I was like, let me invite her to my game night. And a little birdie, a.k.a. you, told me that you was not going to show up.
I wasn't.
Offended. I'm offended.
Well, let me tell the people the story.
Okay.
So I moved back here not too long before you and I had seen each other at the restaurant that time. So I really didn't have too many friends. I had like one or two friends. And I just was like, I'm really not trying to get out. And then you invited me and I was like, I'm going to be in this place with all these people I don't know. And I just shouldn't go. And
I have good people in my circle.
You do, but I didn't know that at the time.
Okay.
So I was like, okay. So I called my mom and I was nervous. I was like driving around in circles and she was like, girl, just go. If you don't
driving around on the roundabout.
On the roundabout. I said, Mom, maybe I should just go back home. She said, no, if you don't like it, you can leave. I said, you know what? That's very valid. I can. And I stayed the whole time.
And you actually came over. I trusted you so much. I gave you my debit card.
Don't even know my name. Gave me that debit card.
Because we ran out of liquor.
Could have rent off.
And I said, I gave her my debit card. And then from that time, like, I don't think even at the game night, we really engaged, like intentional engaging, because it was like, yeah, my apartment is like almost 800 square feet. I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, at least 15, 20 people in my apartment.
He was the hostess with the mostest.
It was a lot. So I'm trying to recall in my Rolodex of memory when we actually had like one-on-one.
I don't think it was actually at the game night.
No, it wasn't. So when was it?
I think you text me afterwards. I think you were texting everybody to make sure they got home and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I responded to you the next day and I told you how much fun I had.
Okay.
And you were like, oh, let's hang out. And then we actually just kind of hung out after that.
I'm glad I didn't do you like everybody else. The thing about me, I will say let's hang out, and it'll be years. It will be years because I do mean what I say, but my life be life in good ways and bad ways, and I forget. And we probably hung out at my house probably because I don't like going.
I don't know what we were doing over here. I think we were just chatting and just getting to know each other a little bit better.
I was going through a little
yeah.
With a
Yeah.
And I think I was sitting, you were sitting on my couch, I was sitting in my wonderful chair, and we was just talking. And as I stated, we're both from the South, and I love all of my friends up here that I've made up north. But it's something about a Southerner. And people tell me all the time, they're like, you're funny. I'm like, I'm not trying to be funny. I'm just saying stuff.
It's the ad-libs.
And it wasn't until she was at my house, sitting on my couch, I was cracking up. And I believe I said to you, is this what people mean when I say things and I don't mean it to be funny? And it's that Southern, we have commentary for everything. And it doesn't mean to be shady. We just comment and we just say it and we keep going. And I was cracking up. And for the first time, people that know me know I don't really want to go back to Alabama, but I felt a piece of home.
Aww.
And that's where it all began.
Yes.
And it was just so much. And I think a week later, we saved each other's number.
Yep, saved each other's number.
I think I had your name saved as Cox. And then I saved you as alter ego.
And you have always been my spirit animal, for sure.
Now, why is that?
I think that we bring out the best in each other that we don't necessarily showcase all the time. So I think you and I had a conversation about how for you, I brought out the side of you that makes you want to be adventurous. It makes you want to be, do things that you would not normally see yourself doing.
Yeah.
And on my side, it's more so you bring me clarity, because I am like a firecracker at heart. I just go do. And being your friend makes me kind of stop and like, okay, is that the best decision? Do we really need to do that?
Because I call you out.
And you will. And I will just sit there. I can be mad all I want, but he gonna say it.
So, but you said that you, at the time of the meeting, you really only had 2 friends. But, and I want to backtrack to give people some more depth into you, because the whole point of the podcast is about journeys.
Yeah.
And how do we embrace that? And you said that you only had 2 friends here prior to me. Now you have 3. I'm not gonna make your other friends jealous because I may be moving up to number 1.
Well,
I'm just playing, y'all. I love y'all, even the one I didn't meet yet. But you went to high school here, so you're from Mississippi. How did you end up in Ohio?
long story. This is the longest story. I'm gonna shorten it up for you though.
Y'all shorten up too much because we have time.
So my father got a job that required him to move all over the place. And then he got some other opportunities that required him to be in multiple places at once. And so he headquartered here in Ohio. So we lived in Mississippi while he was up here setting up shop. And so once he got things, steamrolling, he was like, all right, let's go. And I was like, oh, okay. We're going to Ohio. I had never heard of Ohio. I didn't know what Ohio was.
Because you're Mississippi.
I said, who in the world lives in Ohio? I thought Ohio was like North Dakota.
Most people that transition from Mississippi usually go to Chicago. So, but you said that you guys had to move a lot of places. Where are more places that you guys have lived?
So we've been to Nashville. We've lived in Atlanta. We've lived in New Orleans. We lived in Jackson, Mississippi after we moved the first time. Moved back to Mississippi. Then we moved here. We've actually lived here the longest.
So I could not imagine being a child
Yeah.
and having to move. I've had to transition from Alabama. Well, it was Alabama. We moved to North Carolina. That's where my brother was born.
Mm-hmm.
Then we moved back to Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
And then we moved back, not back. We moved up here, and this is where I've been.
Mm-hmm.
But having to transition from Mississippi, Nashville, NOLA, Mississippi,
Mm-hmm.
Ohio, how was that for you? And does that play a part into why you said you only had two friends here
Yes.
prior to me? Because you also didn't go to college here either, right?
No, I went
Okay.
back. I went back to Mississippi. I went to the Jackson State University.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I actually recently found this out after kind of sitting down and chatting with a couple of my mentors. But yeah, it definitely plays a part in it because I'm always on the go, so I never make meaningful friendships because I always feel like I'm not gonna be here that long, so I don't necessarily need to get to know you that deep because I'm not gonna be here. So
And you can't answer this because you're not your dad or your mom.
mhm.
But as a child, where do you think their headspace was during that? Like, do you think there was any guilt? Like, okay, I got to get my kids, or like they were like, I'm making the best decision for my family.
Absolutely the latter. I think they were mostly thinking they're making the best decision for their family, but they've always said I've been a social butterfly. I don't meet a stranger. I make friends wherever I go.
You don't, and it's I'm an extrovert introvert, and she don't mind. She like, hey everybody. I'm like, girl.
I do not meet a stranger. I will come and say hey to whoever. Don't stare too long. I might say hello. But
And that is true. And so once you guys settled here,
hmm
was it primarily high school?
Yeah, so I moved here my end of my 7th grade year. So I really technically started my 8th grade year here at school.
If y'all could see my face, I'm in shock. I as we've been friends, as she said, since last year, but we've gotten closer since the beginning of this year.
hmm
And I'm in shock because I've never asked her when she moved up here.
Yeah.
And you moved up here the end of your 7th grade year, and
Mhm.
I moved up here the end of my 7th grade
So
year.
we didn't even know it was meant to be.
But you were a year ahead of me, though.
Yes.
But the fact that we kind of made, wow.
Yeah.
That is, okay, yeah, I am so sorry, but I was going to bask in that. So you went to a predominantly white high school, living in
Yes.
a predominantly white neighborhood. And when I say white, I don't mean like yo country bumpkin.
No.
You was there with money.
Yes.
And you probably was one of the few people of color there. Or you know what? I'm not going to even get into the politics of
No.
that term
Yes.
because I'm not going to. You probably was the few black people
Black people,
there.
yeah.
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 How was that experience? Because I went to. That was the door opening. I went to black schools my entire life,
Yeah.
except for college. How
Mhm.
was that experience for you?
And that was reversed for me. I went to white schools except for college. So,
Really?
yes, every school I went to in New Orleans, I went to a private school. Like I've always gone to predominantly white schools.
Okay, so let's do the whole. Okay, I was just gonna frame it for where you were in high school,
Yeah.
but was your high? So you went to a private school, but was it like your high school? Was it like the
Mhm.
same culture?
Mhm.
So growing up as a black Southern belle
Yes.
in a predominantly white institute,
Mhm.
college, no, well, not college,
Mhm.
high school, middle school, all of that stuff. And if you know Cynthia, Cynthia is the epitome of a country black woman. How did you fit in? How was that?
I didn't. And I think after a while, I just stopped trying to. I never fit in. I never could acquiesce into a situation that would make me tolerable. So I just became everybody's favorite.
But uh, can you elaborate on everybody's favorite? What does that
Yeah.
mean?
So everybody just kind of believes they just kind of like you said, if you know me, you know me.
Okay.
And so like there was no rhyme or reason to how like I was never trying to be a part of the group or try to fit in or
Mhm.
try to like, be something that I know I wasn't able to do.
Okay.
Because like y'all could hear, I'm very Southern.
Mm-hmm.
Like the dialect is strong.
But you do be changing your
I have
dialect.
to now. That's my phone voice now.
No, because she'll go from and that and go over there to absolutely.
Absolutely.
No, I'm like, girl, where did that come from? Snap out of that.
But it even in that, sometimes if I'm a little too comfortable when I'm speaking,
Mm-hmm.
I have to catch myself. And I have to be like, oh, let me go back.
But why?
Just because sometimes it becomes a spectacle. People, like, you know how people always want people from New Orleans to say baby, say baby, say baby.
Oh.
It just becomes a spectacle after a while. Oh my gosh, you sound, say this, say that. Don't do that.
Is that primarily from us or them?
Both, actually. So being here from Mississippi, it's a little different because Black people here are not used to it as well.
I can agree, because when I moved here 7th grade, and I still have a little Southern dialect sometimes, people be like, "Can you say that again?" Hell no,
Like,
I can't say it again.
you know what I said.
Yeah.
You heard what I said.
And they like, "Oh, why you say it like that, nigga?"
That's
I'm
how
Southern.
I talk.
Right.
Like, what you mean?
So I think as you got older, and not necessarily, you said that you were always yourself, or you got to a point to where you were yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have to code switch often from being with your Black people to your white people with money? Because, and we're going to call a spade, there are social groups in different settings, and the elitists. And when I think, I can only, because I don't know your background from middle school and stuff, I know what school you went to in high school, and I know the area that we live in.
Right.
And these people, they like, we got a chiropractor that like the chiropractor place live, and he drives his Rolls Royce
all over the place
to Kroger, his little candy red, candy apple red Rolls Royce.
Pull up to the
So
Kroger.
did you experience that, or was there like any point where you like maybe felt less than because you weren't white? And you come from a very, you set up for success, what I'm saying. But did you ever, like, was there any spirit of like trying to compare yourself to what you saw?
Surprisingly, that only came, and that never happened to me. Let me say that never happened to me until I went to college.
And you went to an HBCU,
Right.
Tell me about that.
That was interesting. So I, as you said, went to a predominantly white high school. I pretty much was the man around town. Like I said, like all my teachers loved me. I was pretty much like acquaintances. I hate saying friends now, but friends like everybody at school.
Okay.
But I don't think I was Black enough for the HBCU.
And I didn't go to a HBCU, and I told this on my last episode, because I love I love us. I love us. But we can be some of our harshest people.
I'm telling you.
And I was operating from a space of, it's crazy. I went to all Black schools my entire life. But I said, if I went to a HBCU, I don't know if I would be Black enough.
Yeah. I did not feel Black enough. I listened to apparently the wrong music. I was not.
What was you listening to, girl?
I listened to all kinds of music.
What you listening to? Hop out the plane.
Love me some Miley Cyrus. I love me some Miley. I can appreciate everyone's music. Like, I can appreciate everything. So I'm, bumping my Miley Cyrus in my dorm room. They're like, cut it off. What is you talking about?
Because they wanted, I'm a dog.
They wanted whatever. At that time, the Migos was bumping, so they wanted all of that.
See, I really don't know who the Migos are.
Exactly.
And I was raised. My parents.
I
tell people all the time. My grandmother took me to church. I saw a different side.
Yes.
So, and I don't know who the Migos are.
I literally just. I was not Black. My hair was too straight. I would flat iron my hair every day. Every day. Never enjoyed any part of my curls.
So did that affect you in any way?
Somewhat. Like my freshman year roommate, I love her to this day. The craziest part was she did the big chop our freshman year.
Okay.
And I was crying because I was like, how could you chop off all your hair? How could you do
Okay.
that? And she would just literally just do a little wash and go, cute little curls, little fro would be
Mm.
popping. But it just was not me. I could not fathom my hair looking like that. I could not. I'm like, okay, I kind of see it now. I
Okay.
see what they mean when they say like, okay, you're not black enough. Like you haven't got in touch with your black side. And I know that like our people sometimes have great intention on what they say,
Yeah.
but the delivery can be a little rough.
Yeah,
So
that is true. That is true. Yeah, we are guilty.
Yes, I feel like that was more so what they were saying.
Okay.
After over time, I was like, okay, I see it now. It's like they were trying to tell me that I was afraid to be who I actually was.
Okay.
And it was true. I was afraid of everything being black then. I was like, oh my God, this is too black. It's too much.
So I want to tie that back to friendships in our adult life because that's when I did. How did that play a role into making friends?
Oh gosh. I was friends with who I fit with. I didn't try to be anything but myself, and if it didn't if it didn't sit well with you, then we just wouldn't be friends. So I do believe I missed out on a lot of good opportunities to be friends with people, just kind of being kind of set and stubborn in that way. Just
Okay.
like, okay, accept me for who I am now, not who I can grow to be or whatnot. So
What I can tell you, because I want to get into depth with something, and you're probably gonna hate me for it, but it's okay. I love you to death.
yes.
But prior to that, I tell Cynthia all the time, she's one of the smartest people I know. And when I say that, because she went to a PWIs for the most of her life,
Mm-hmm.
there's things that she knows, or that, well, let me talk as if you're in the room.
Mm-hmm.
There's things that you know that I have not been hip to
Yeah.
because I went to all black schools.
Yeah.
And most of that stems from like finances.
Mm-hmm.
Like you be schooling me on if you do this, if you do that, if you do this. I'm like, girl, why did they teach us this in school? And then even we were talking about food stamps and Medicaid.
Yep.
And you said the white people be balling on that.
Balling.
And it's crazy because as black people, it has been programmed in our head that if we're on that stuff, it's bad.
It's bad. They
You're
look
poor,
down on
or
you.
you.
Yeah.
But it be these people driving around in Cadillac Escalades and candy apple red Rolls Royces on Medicaid with food stamps.
Yep.
So I said all that to say that I believe that was intentional. Like as like your journey, you have insight and perspective that a lot of us don't know, or let me say, a lot of black people that went to predominantly black schools don't know until we had to find out at the last minute. Like when we experience crisis, or and we're like, I didn't know we had these resources.
Yeah.
So how has that affected you?
That's a great question. I mean, in that, it definitely puts you in a different, I don't want to say like headspace or level, but more so in a different category than your peers, because you do get, white people being comfortable around you. So they start talking and they start telling you things and they start letting out their little secrets and stuff like that. And you're like, oh, okay.
And one thing about Cynthia, she gonna listen.
I'm a listen. I'm nosy like that. I'm a listen. So, I'm just soaking it up. I'm your friend, but I'm just soaking it up, information for myself. And that is like really one of the reasons why I went into the line of work that I go into.
Okay.
Because I was like, people need to know this. People need to be able to adequately use these resources that are there, that are looked down upon, because that's not something that they want you to see, because they want it for themselves. So if they make it look bad, you won't want it, because black people know we love to shine. We love to look good.
We do. Oh, and so I want to tap back into the friendship part. And y'all are getting a glimpse of how my mind works. Actually, our conversations are very much all over the place.
Like this.
And then they come back to a common ground. So you talked about friendships you went to the HBCU and kind of your pushback from there. And I asked you about making friends of that nature. And when we started getting close, anyone that knows me, I have discernment.
Yes.
And I remember somebody I talked to, when we cut it off, he literally said to me, And I don't know if this was a compliment or not a compliment. He said, I feel bad for whoever dates you because you just know everything. And even like my friends, if I call them, I say, hey, how are you? They're like, what you got to say?
Right.
I know things. But I have to have friends where I can be honest with.
Right.
And I think that's important. And I believe that when we first started like getting close, and at this point, we just shared a lot of stuff.
Right.
And I'm not going to go into detail because this is between you and I.
Yeah.
But there was a point where I had to say, girl, are you being you for me?
Right.
And I said to you, we was in Old Navy.
Yes.
Because she was like, I'm at Old Navy. I said, well, I'm coming to Old Navy.
I'm coming up there.
And I said, I pride myself in friends able to be themselves around me.
Yes.
And I said that because I've been homeless before.
Yeah.
I done had a car repossessed. I done been the richest I'd ever been before, and I've been the brokest I'd ever been.
Yes.
And I don't judge people.
Yeah.
But I felt when you were getting to know me, and I get this in dating as well, because a lot of people like, pause. Not a lot of people.
He ran away, y'all.
I don't be in these streets, but there's been a couple men that have shared with me, you're too good to be true, because I am understanding.
Very.
And I accept people, and I provide a space that most people don't encounter.
Yeah.
And yes, I am bragging on myself because it's my damn podcast.
It is.
But I felt as though you didn't encounter someone, and let's not make it about me, but someone that was to accept you
right
through it all.
Yeah.
How was that experience for you?
That is very true. I think we had a conversation about that as well later after that Old Navy pop-up.
Because I have her location.
Yes. we're that tight.
Yes.
But I think that for me, with that kind of ties that all back to me not wanting to make friends. Like, I don't need to get to know any people, and it also has like a reverse effect. I don't need you to know me. So once I let people in to a certain extent, and then I cut it off because that's enough. And so I felt like that was the bridge. That was the bridge. That was the wall that we were running into, because I felt as if the facade that I was putting up was like translucent to you. You could literally see right through it. Like, it was glass with the Windex and the vinegar. Like, it was
the vinegar, not the vinegar.
It was, and I'm like, this is not real. Like, you know, I'm really good at just kind of like presenting myself as the person that I need to be in that moment. But never have I ever really been good at just being Cynthia by herself. And though that kind of ties back to like me not making friends, it also has like that, okay, well, where do we go now aspect. So like, I'm not the same person I was when I moved up here the first time or the second time. When I came back from HBCU, I definitely was not the person I was when I left. Okay. So I'm like, okay, who are you now? Where do you fit in now? And so putting all of that and then meeting a person like you was like a giant traffic cone. I was like, whoa, okay.
Not a giant
caution.
Okay.
He's getting a little too close.
So are you like that in dating as well?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so this is unfiltered.
Yeah.
This is all. I have a lot of people that I have gotten to know, but like dating wise, that are like that.
Yeah.
And I have a hard time understanding it. And I have a hard time trying, because I am super vulnerable. No, I'm not. Okay. I am open.
Yes.
I am very open. But as far as emotions, sometimes I am very much, you ain't gonna see all of that.
Right.
Do you know where that stems from?
I think it has to do with just protecting yourself.
Okay.
So when you make, meaningful relationships, whether it be platonic or romantic, you have to give a piece of yourself.
Yeah.
And so as a child, I learned to just keep it pushing, because things would consistently change.
Wow.
So
because of the moving,
right.
We're connecting the dots.
Right. So my relationships with people have developed in adolescence because I never was able to build meaningful relationships. I don't even know what that looks like. So I build a relationship with people I want. This is the relationship I want. So this is what we're going to do until I say I don't want it no more. And then we move on.
Wow. Oh, wow. So do you think with turning 30, that mindset is trying? My motto, and I can relate to dating, because dating, I have seen that more in dating than I have in friendships.
Yeah.
And I also and I often tell people when dating, like, I have been hurt.
Yeah.
I have been given STDs, child, by people.
My Lord.
Thank God they are curable.
Amen.
Well, they were.
My
Not
God.
are, because there's no present day. Amen.
Jesus.
But I have all of the reason to never want to date.
Yeah.
Anymore. But my mindset is often like, that's the beauty of also dating and friendships.
Yeah.
That when you find someone and everything else that you've been through no longer matters.
Right.
Because this person has made it worthwhile. And that's
Absolutely.
friendship, that's relationship. And so I'm always willing to try. And that may be a fault of my own, because it has led me to a lot of heartbreak and a lot of disappointments, because I'm the type of person, I'm either in it or I'm out. And that's friendships, that's dating. There ain't no in between. And a lot of times, I am in it. And it leads me to be hurt. And I see myself now entering a space of, I don't want to give myself to anyone else.
Yeah, that's a dangerous territory to be in.
Yeah.
I think for me, I consider all relationships, whether friendships or romantic relationships, like family.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't get to get into my inner circle if you're not family. And family means so much to me.
And we're the same person in that aspect.
Right. I love my family. I love, like, bringing people into my family. Like, I have uncles, quotes, that I didn't know till I was older weren't really related to me, because that's just how tight they were with our family. You know what I mean? So I consider, like, friends like that. So the same heartbreak you would feel in dating is the same heartbreak I feel when I lose a friend. So all relationships kind of feel that same way to me.
Okay.
So I just would rather not.
Okay. Well, hopefully being friends with me, and I said this to the last person I talked to, as far as like dating wise, I said, even if we don't work out, I pray that you encountering me is showing you that there are good people that still exist.
Yes, absolutely.
And so I pray that our friendship has shown you that. And I told you this a few weeks ago, your ass ain't going nowhere.
No, we tight like glue.
Yeah. Well, sometimes glue, if it's not the glue that lady
glue.
put, okay,
that gorilla glue that lady had in her head.
Okay, y'all. So we're gonna take a break and we're gonna come back to the journey, because there's so much more that we can talk about this journey, and then we're just gonna keep this podcast going. So we'll be right back after this break. All right, y'all, we are back, and I hope y'all are loving Cynthia as much as I do, because I think oftentimes we look at people and we think that we know people, but when you sit down and talk to people, it's like, dang, this person,
she cool.
Yeah, she cool as hell.
She cool.
So we talked about your journey so far, about your relocations and trying to find stable ground. I must say, you going to PWIs from your whole school except for college when you went to HBCU, and just the journey of friendships and things of that nature. I want to get into your reset.
Yes.
So there was a point in life recently where you had to be like, okay, let's stop, let's pause, let's reset. And when I say reset, you had to relocate back home with your parents.
Yes.
And a lot of people are afraid of that, because it makes, in my opinion, I may be wrong, but a lot of people are afraid of that because they're like, did I fail at something? And I don't think that's always the case.
Yeah.
How has that experience been?
Oh gosh. All of that, all of the above. The original transition did feel like a failure. Wow. I had been out on my own. I was doing my own thing. I was making, like you said, the most money I had ever made. everything was just lovely, except for it wasn't, and I was just in denial. But I was like, I can do this.
Okay.
I can do it. I'm on my own. I'm every woman. It's all in me. And
I know that all my friends, we talk through song lyrics. All of my friends or TV shows.
Yes.
Okay.
And so that it did feel I had to humble myself and look at my parents and say, I can't do this by myself no more. I need help. And I sat down with my parents and we came up with a game plan. And the best decision at that time was for me to just transition back home. And thank God, it's a blessing that you have parents that want you in their home,
That part, and it's a blessing to you even want to go home.
Right, that part.
Because some people be like, okay, I'm going through life. I'm going to keep struggling.
I'm
not
keep
going
struggling.
home.
Yeah.
I'm not going home.
They were they were overjoyed that I wanted to. I accepted that kind of game plan and wanted to move back in because they love me to pieces and I appreciate the sacrifices that they made in that transition.
Okay.
So it was weird. Not
so. What is it about the status quo or the world that it's seen as a failure and it feels as a failure? Why is that? Why do you think that's the case?
Society from a long, long time ago would say when you're 18, you're an adult, get out. So we've kind of been like pre-programmed to think I'm an adult. Once I'm out, I'm out.
Okay.
And I should not need to come back home.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's this like negative stigma in asking for help if you need it.
Yeah.
If you know that you're living check to check and you got to choose between groceries and gas, or you got to choose between the light bill and the cable bill, you need some help. And you
Tell
should.
us.
You need some help.
Sweetness.
You need some help. And that's okay because in the midst of it, and I can speak from experience, you're like, I got this. I can do it. I just need one more week, one more month. And you're just like digging yourself into a hole that you can't climb out of yourself anymore.
Wow.
And so I think this like negative stigma, especially in the African American community about being on your own, needs to stop like immediately. Because I found out just being around predominantly white people, some of their kids stay at home till they get married.
And that's how they build generational wealth.
And that's how they build generational wealth. They don't allow their kids to struggle.
Wow.
They don't allow their kids to go out unless they're ready.
Wow.
And for some reason, we feel as if because we hit a certain age, we need to be out.
Yeah.
And that, like, no.
I want to tap back into family. You
Yeah.
said that you're glad that your parents was overjoyed, were your words.
Overjoyed.
How has it been? Because I see your family.
Yeah.
I know most of your family. Well, your middle brother just need to just come around us a little bit more.
Yes.
But y'all dynamic. It's very much close. Like I text you, I be like, "What you doing?" I'm watching TV. Okay. Why are you watching TV? I'm watching TV with my family. Mm-hmm. The way that would get on my nerves. The way my mom be trying to get us to be all lovey-dovey. I'm like, girl, we, like, me and my family, we are close for what we consider close.
Yeah.
But when we were younger, we didn't do the whole sit and watch movies all at once. So we didn't eat dinner like me and my brother ate dinner at the table, but they were in their room. So that's how I grew up with family. Like, so now you talking about, now mama be like, all right, you guys, let's do matching PJs for Christmas. Girl, no. We ain't did that shit.
You don't want to do matching PJs?
We ain't did that shit since we ain't never did
that. My mama
that.
just ordered our PJs for Christmas.
Don't start that now. So how has it been? And then I'll come back to the reset.
Yeah.
Have you guys always been that way? Is that like a family dynamic of your entire family? Or it's like, what is that?
Yeah, that has been, and I hate to use this word, but that's been bred in us for the longest. My grandfathers, both sides of the family, like paternal and maternal, family is everything.
Yeah.
You need that. We were taught these are the closest people to you ever. This is going to be the only people you know that know you for who you are. This is your tight circle. And so our family, I enjoy hanging out with my family. My mama is hilarious.
and Mama Pam, I said this last night. I said she's a baddie.
She is. My mama fine. But just like I love being around my parents and my brothers, even though they work my nerves, Lord. But those are my babies, and so like being with my family actually is my comfort space.
Wow.
That is. When that life is going on outside, I can go in and close that door and I'm good.
When I say they are close knit, they
close.
do everything together.
We go to the mall together.
I be calling her like, girl, what are you doing? I'm hanging out like, damn, again?
We go out to eat, we go to the mall. Them my road dogs, them my people.
So having to reset, whereas you did say that you, at first, you felt the whole failure stage of that. But that shift probably was even easier because of that family dynamic. Whereas easier, like there are some people, as I mentioned, that if they had to make that reset, they're like, I ain't trying to go to my family. I can go stay at one of my friends' house. Yeah. So that was a blessing in itself. And I have to ask you this, talk about like our journeys and how we imagine life going and how we imagine life going. Our end result is always right. It's the how we get there as well. In between. So do you think that was an intentional part of your journey that helped you grow?
Absolutely. I found myself isolating. And that's just not something, as you know, with how tight my family is, that's just not something we do.
Yeah.
I would be missing for months, weeks, days. They'd be like, oh my God, I haven't seen you. Eons is crazy. I haven't seen you. Come by for Sunday dinner. And I would be so ashamed of the situation that I was in. I didn't want to ask for help because I got this, you know. Yeah. And I would just be going missing. And they would even pop up at my house. I wouldn't answer the door.
Wow.
And I'd be like, nope. You ain't finna see me struggling. You ain't finna see me depressed. You ain't finna see me crying at a ball in the corner. Mm-mm.
I want you to know in this moment, your story is blessing me in that aspect. and I've actually hearing you talk, there has been twice, this time and previously in our conversation, that I felt myself getting emotional. Because what you just said is how I am.
Yeah.
And in the conversation with Gabby and Jazz last week, we talked about our friendship and how I said I have a certain way that I want to show up.
Right.
And Gabby told me in our conversation, she was like, I just want you to be my friend. She's like, I just need my friend. And so when we talk about family, my family I've been particularly more on my dad's side, but in general, I have always had high expectations of me. You seen my trophies.
Yes. Yeah. Y'all, the accolades are for days.
And so I was the 8 honor roll student. Look, first place in the math derby. I did get fourth place one
super
time.
Super honor roll, y'all.
Super honor roll. President's award, like president from the United States of America. All that stuff. Not the president of the student council, the president of the United States of America. And so I've always had this expectations of like, this is who Denarian is. So when I'm not in that space, because to me, yes, I'm grinding and going and wanting to be successful for me, but I also like, I'm the person that's gonna help my family. And so when I'm not in the space to where I'm excelling, I isolate myself from my family to this day, because I'm like, y'all, I'm trying to do this for us. And because you guys have always had these expectations of me, I don't want you guys to see me outside of that.
Yeah, that's actually developed as a child. So it's called release and reward. So because you excelled as a child, and this is for me too, our minds start to calculate and program that we feel praised and loved and rewarded when we do good things. So when we don't, our mind reverts back to, you didn't do anything good, so you don't deserve it. And so that's why we self-isolate, because there's nothing for you to praise or reward me for right
now. Unfiltered.
Yeah.
Journey Unfiltered.
I'm telling you.
That was a lot for me to digest.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. It's about you, because that was a whole therapy session for me right now. and this is what this podcast is for. I want to do this podcast because I know that there's so many people in our age group, and even people younger and older. Younger people are going to go through this, and older people have been through this. But I told my mom this. This is all our first time living life.
Oh gosh, I've never been 30 before.
So I wanted to create a space where people in episodes can feel themselves in it.
Yeah.
And can also get something from it to help them to keep going on the journey.
Yeah.
And you just helped me to keep going.
Yeah.
So you did the reset, and I believe in every journey, whether it's how we imagine it, or whatever the case may be, everything works out for the good, and everything works out because it's intentional. Mm-hmm. You did not expect that when you went back home, grief to start happening.
No.
And tell us about that. Tell us, and you don't have to go into deep details if you don't want to, but tell us about that. So you moved back in, and then people just started to go.
Yeah, God called them all home. I am very much spoiled, and that started with my grandfathers. I've been a daddy's girl my whole life, but for sure a granddaddy's girl. Yeah. If my cousin's listening, I was definitely Papa's favorite.
Well, send this to your cousins, A, so I can get strings.
Amen.
And B, so they can hear that.
Yes, I was definitely Papa's favorite. But one of my grandfathers got diagnosed with cancer, and he was not a person to ever get sick. He's a farmer, you know. Mm-hmm. So if anybody in the rural areas understand, farmers don't go to the hospital unless they halfway up out of here. And unfortunately for us, that was the case. He just, it literally hit us all of a sudden. A couple months before he was up here for my brother's graduation, we were laughing, talking. Everything was great. We took him to Detroit, and he got to see all the Motor City
Detroit
stuff.
For what?
Well, we just wanted to.
Because my mind went, because y'all know Michigan is for something else.
No, not that, not my granddad. No, not my granddad. But he's been in Mississippi his whole life. Okay. So when he would visit us, we would take him to see things he never saw before. Because as a 70-year-old man, your first time in Canada, you know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Or your 70-year-old man, your first time here and there. And so we would just take every opportunity to just show him the world that he fought for, because he was a Vietnam veteran. So
thank you for your service, Papa.
Yes, thank you. So he was fine, and then couple months he was like, he wasn't feeling well, so my dad went down there, and just literally it kind of snowballed into his passing, which was really hard for me, because for the first couple years of my life I actually lived with them while my parents finished school. So they were more like parents to me than they were grandparents. And then not too long after that, my other grandfather passed away.
Wow.
So we were back to back within the same year. Within 4 months, sending angels home.
And at this time, this was after your reset.
Yeah.
I'm calling it a reset because that is a good.
It's a good reset.
Yes, it's a reset.
Just a restart.
So your parents, you're now back at home, and your parents, they're losing parents.
Yes. And
I remember you telling me when we met, you would always say, I need to check on my parents.
Got to. So that was my father's last living parent. So he didn't have anymore. And that was my mom. She was also a daddy's girl. So obviously I understood from being a daddy's girl perspective how much that hurt her. And so at the same time, both of my parents are grieving.
And you're the eldest.
And I'm the eldest. So my younger brothers are grieving and going through, and my parents are grieving and going through. So I just had to be the rock, and I had to just get it done.
And it goes, wow. Whew. God has a way of doing things.
Yeah.
And we don't always understand it.
No.
When it happens. And although you, at the beginning of your reset, kind of felt failure, I believe that reset was less about you.
Yeah.
and more about what your family was going to need.
Yeah.
Because if push came to shove, knowing you would have been somewhere down south still.
Mm-hmm.
And that grieving process and knowing that you guys are close knit, like your immediate family, would have been crazy.
Difficult.
If you did not have that reset.
Yeah.
And my whole philosophy of life is trying to find the good in everything. It's so easy to look at a reset like that and be like, huh. But unfortunate things happen.
Right.
But the one thing that means the most to you is family.
Yeah.
And you were able to be very close.
Very close.
Very close. Next door in the other room.
Right.
With your family and your mom and your dad. And I know how much you love your parents and your siblings.
Yeah.
In that point. Now you stated, and this is for anyone that has lost anybody. This podcast is for you right now in this moment. I heard you say I was the rock.
Yes.
For my parents.
Yep.
Because they're grieving.
Yes.
Back to back. I was the rock for my younger siblings.
Yes.
How were you the rock for Cynthia?
I wasn't. And that grief process is still ongoing. But I wasn't. I didn't have time to. Because we couldn't all just be broken. Life had to move on. Things had to be done. The family members that we still had wanted answers. And I had to be the one to answer it because they weren't going to stop calling. They weren't going to stop showing up. They weren't going to stop asking questions. So it was up to me to make sure that everything was good, everything was done, and I would just grieve later. And it was fine. And it would be fine. And it just kept on going and going. And I was like, okay, well, now then we get to another grief process. Okay, well, it's fine. I'll just push it off some more. It's fine. It's going to be fine. Everything's fine. Till it wasn't. So no one.
How is Cynthia now?
I am better. I've been going to grief therapy and grief counseling. It's a real thing. Please, if you are going through something, get some grief counseling because being able to regulate your own emotions while trying to figure out why you feel that way is really difficult to do on your own. Yeah. But I am better than I was. I see the good in the transition. That happened. I never understood. I had no clue my grandfathers were fathers to so many other people than just us. It was so amazing to see the outpour of love that we consistently got because of the people they were. So, wonderful in a sense that I'm glad that they are where they are now with no pain, no suffering, but okay. And so that, I'm human and I miss them.
So would you, from little Cynthia to now, would you ever have imagined that life would be what life is now?
No, I was just literally talking to my mom the other day about that. I said, this is a dream, isn't it? This is not real.
Yeah.
I could never have imagined not having both my grandfathers there when I walked down the aisle. Or I could have never imagined that I'd be looking at her face when I'm 30, talking about what's for dinner.
Wow.
I could never imagine that I would find someone, a friend like you that sees me for exactly who I am. And I think that
she really want to be with me, y'all.
Well, that's the podcast after dark. That's the podcast after dark.
Lord have mercy, help the people.
I don't think I wouldn't have imagined it this way, but I don't think I would have wanted it any other way.
That's a great way to phrase it. And that's a great way to go to break right there. And once we come back for break, you guys, it's one of my favorite segments of the show. Here for it. So we'll be right back. Y'all, we are back again. That's all I got. We are back and we're here with Cynthia, and it's time for the Here for the Journey. No, that is not where we're at. It is time.
We've been here the whole journey.
It is time for the Here For It segment, okay? So we have 10 questions, and you're gonna either say you're here for it or you're not. The first 5, they're going to be, we can give commentary.
Sure.
The other 5 is rapid fire.
Gotcha.
And we can't provide commentary. And if I do provide commentary, don't call me out like Jasmine tried to do. Just understand that it's my podcast. I can change the shit if I want to, okay? All right. The first one, matching outfits with your bestie.
Here for it.
I'm not.
Why not?
I wish we just talked about my mama trying to get matching outfits for the holidays.
We can get matching onesies for the holidays.
No, hell no.
Yeah, we could watch Christmas movies.
Absolutely not. No, I don't want no matching outfits. No. Why?
Because it's cute.
All right. Dating apps in your 30s.
No.
I'm not here for it, but how are people dating out here in their 30s?
I don't know, but I've never been a fan of dating apps. I feel like you get used to a person you don't know. Like, you get used to what they let you see virtually.
Okay, so dating apps, I think people think of dating apps like Tinder, all this stuff. But Instagram is a dating app.
It can be.
Facebook,
if y'all sliding in the DMs, for sure.
Facebook is legit a dating.
It literally has Facebook dating on there, yeah.
So how do we in our 30s, because people I think our generation, we're okay with being at home.
Mm-hmm.
So how we meet people?
That part, we
dating
don't.
on social media.
That part, we don't.
Okay.
We have to get used to going out.
It's so much going on outside. I don't want to. I was out all night serving the church.
Gosh.
With my feet hurting in my back.
Out there.
Yeah. All right. Allowing yourself to celebrate how far you have came.
I'm here for it.
I'm here for it, and I need to do better at it.
Yes, you do. I do believe that. You do.
Dang. What about you?
I think you have accomplished some great things that you just kind of brush off on your shoulder. I think you need to be like, we need to just throw him a parade. We need to have a D-Day. No, not that kind of day.
But I believe, especially in our generation, so our grandparents and our parents were in hustle mode.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're on the verge of being in hustle mode, but also having balance.
Yeah.
And when you're in hustle mode, you oftentimes don't have enough time to be like, hey, I did that. And it's okay to say, hey, I did that.
Yeah.
But we're on to the next. Like, in my mind, I'm literally on to, okay, what is next? I think I'm going to have a podcast. I mean, I do have a podcast.
You do. We're on it.
I'm going to have a segment that's going to be like about boasting about yourself,
you
maybe.
should.
Yeah.
Giving yourself praise.
Because
all
as you
day
said,
long.
I have done some
You
dope
have some
stuff.
amazing things.
All right. Forgiving people who never apologized.
Here for it.
I'm here for it too. It's hard.
It is. It's never going to be easy.
Because how do you...
But you have to do it for you, not for the other person.
That is so cliche, because they said for forgiveness, not for another person, it's for you.
But it truly is for you.
But this mom,
okay.
how am I supposed to move past that?
I always said, my grandmother used to always tell me, you can forgive, but you don't got to forget.
So I can forgive, but if I see you in the store, I can still knock you upside the head.
No. You can forgive, but you don't got to mess with that person no more. You be like, okay, I know who you are, but go on now.
Okay. All right. Doing solo dates.
I'm here for it.
I'm here. Do you do them often?
Yes.
What's the most recent solo date that you've done?
I took myself to the Columbus Commons and I watched Love Jones on the lawn. It was so fun.
I don't know if I could do that.
It was so much fun though. There was like taco trucks and
of course
everybody had like blankets and everything out, and it was the cutest thing to see. But yeah, I'm here for it. Absolutely.
I am here for it. I've done traveling places by myself. I went to Canada by myself. Going to restaurants, I don't mind that.
Yeah, I don't mind that at all.
I don't like movies at all, but I did go to the Beyonce when she did the Renaissance thing.
The Renaissance.
I
Yeah.
wish I did that and anybody knows I don't like watching movies by myself, but I also don't like watching movies. But I had that whole theater to myself. Was I crossfaded? Absolutely.
We love it.
Okay, here goes the fire round.
Okay.
Leaving a group chat without saying goodbye.
Here for it.
Here for it. All right. Outgrowing friendships without bad blood.
Here for it.
Here for it. All right. So am I. Supporting friends when your own cup is empty. Come on.
No and yes.
Here for it or not. Here for it or not.
I don't believe you can.
No. Here for it or not.
No.
No, you're not here for it. I am here. I'm here for it. Yeah,
okay.
That's what we're gonna do. That was hard. I want to talk about it.
We gotta
so
talk
bad.
about that one.
No,
We gotta talk about that one.
Okay, staying in on a Friday night.
Here for it.
Here for it. Last one. Taking selfies everywhere you go.
No.
I'm not here for it.
No, I don't care if you in the bathroom. I could care less if you pulled up to CC's Pizza.
Yeah, I'm not here for it. All right. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
It's been amazing. I am so excited for people to hear your journey and your story. I feel like it is going to bless everybody.
I hope so.
Before we go, I like to end with one last question for my guests. Throughout your journey, what is one thing that you have learned about yourself?
That I am resilient.
Yeah.
Life can definitely throw things at you that you could never imagine. But the fact that I won't give up, not just can't because I can, but I can. It's very possible.
Okay, go ahead.
It's very possible. I can. But that I won't allow myself to quit growing and moving forward and becoming the best version of myself.
Yeah.
I think that resilience is definitely something that has very much shown throughout all of my transition.
Amen. I think that you are a resilient person. I think you are a gorgeous person. I think that you are a smart person. And I think you are a funny person. Actually, I just told two people, and we're going to end it here. I just told two people, we were listening to, what's that one song? Dun, 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 dun. I'm a dreamer.
I'm a dreamer.
We were literally having a conversation. We were having a conversation on my couch. And I was like, Cynthia, where do you be? Because you just refuse to accept reality for what it is. I'm like, I'm telling you this is what it is, and you're finding every reason for it not to be that. And this girl bust out and said, I'm a dreamer. When I say and we're going to say, thank you, Cynthia.
You're
this
welcome.
This is the first, but it won't be your last time on the Here for the Journey podcast. After this break, you guys, we're going to get into the pit stop moment of the week, and I'll be back after this break. Welcome back to the Here for the Journey Unfiltered podcast. It is time for our pit stop moment of the week. And this is just a moment in the show where we take a moment just to breathe, just to refuel ourselves for our journey. And this is where I share some encouraging words or just anything to uplift you, for you to carry on for the rest of your journey, or even for you to carry for the rest of your week. And today I want to talk about grace. And I'm going to talk about grace as it pertains to extending grace to us. I think as people, especially in this season of our lives, we are super hard on ourselves. And it's easy for us to extend grace to our partners, to extend grace to our friends. But when it comes to us, we expect perfection. And that's impossible. It's nice to strive for perfection, but I believe that when we get into a place to where we are striving for that and we are not extending ourselves grace, it hinders progression. So I want you out there to know it is okay to make a mistake. The same kindness and the same love and the same compassion that we extend to everyone else, I want you to extend that same grace to yourself this week. When you make a mistake, when you're not where you want to be in life, but you still made some steps forward, even if you did make no steps forward, you tried. Show yourself that grace and don't let perfection hinder you from doing what God has called you to do, all right? So this whole week, when you mess up, just say grace. When you don't get it right, just say grace, all right? I love y'all. And remember, we may not have it figured out, but we're here for the journey. See you next Monday.
We're just living, learning, growing, here for the journey.